Hello and welcome back to Factorio 0.16 with Angels and Bob's mods. Right, so between this and last episode I've done some work. Mainly I've worked a little bit with solar panels and I converted pretty much entirely to it. I've got 2000 solar panels with 840 heavy, not heavy, high capacity accumulators, which can pretty much output around 120 megawatts. You can pretty much see the grid over here. I've just made a blueprint to have 100 accumulators and 100 solar panels and 42 accumulators, which according to the formula I had is the correct ratio for those. So yeah. Also I've done some work here. That's quite a lot of work that I did there. And yeah, it's basically it'll use the chunk sorting for each of the basic ores. I haven't done any for ferrous powder sorting or cupric powder sorting. But yeah, the other ones are well, they work, let's say. Okay, and for this I just wanted to get 6 of every main ingredients, let's say, of each chunk sorting. So that gives a lot of ore. So basic setup for each of the sorting columns, let's say, is well, not sorting, or processing columns is pretty much the same. They go from first from the train station they go into crushers, and the crushed ore goes to the next warehouse. So yeah, where's the crushing here? So each one, it gives crushed saphirite, for example, and some crushed stone. And the crushed stone I convert into stone and send it over to a different place for further processing. With chunks, it's pretty much the same. Those crushed ores go in, they get converted into chunks with using purified water, and they also give some crystals and wastewater. So for each of the column I've got enough hydro plants doing the wastewater purification, so I'm not left with any wastewater whatsoever. And well, in case of sulfur, it goes north and then west to a different place where I process into something else. And the chunks go into a warehouse, and they just leave to the west for sorting. With the crystal bits, geodes, I just turn those into crystal slurry and just bring it up here to store it. Also, just so I don't because it should probably it will probably make around 190 crystal slurry per second if everything is working all the time. So yeah, I've just put a pump here that will just void this slurry if it gets higher than 99,000 units. So yeah, the basic setups for the processing is pretty much the same. The saccharide, stereotite and bobmonium processing gives sulfuric wastewater, which as I told you earlier, the sulfur will go to a different place. Rubite gives nitric wastewater, which pretty much is only purified, and I think this one was mineral water. So I just void the mineral water here, and the purified water. The purified water from all of the purification. It first goes to a central storage area, and from there I distribute it with using different pipes. So I've got pipes for input and pipes for output from, let's say, my purified water storage area. With what is it, Givolite? Yeah, with Givolite it gives fluoric wastewater, and the purification of it gives fluoride. So yeah, the fluoride, and here as well, the mineral water is voided, and the purified water goes to the storage. With fluoric wastewater, well, with the fluoride, I turn it over here into hydrofluoric acid, and similar to the crystal slurry, it's being kept below 99,000 here, and this gives below 100 hydrofluoric acid, so a single floor stack is fine here. This one also gives what was it? It's called calcium sulfate, and calcium sulfate goes to a different place for further processing. With chloric wastewater, it gives saline water and purified water, so the same as with the other ones. Saline water is voided, and purified water is sent to the, let's say, storage for purified water. Okay, so, and all of the chunks, they go west over here to this warehouse, and each of the chunks is limited to 2000 ore, no, not ore, 2000 units of each chunk. So I could probably use something smaller than the warehouse, but the storehouse, I'm not sure if I would have enough input-output options here. I think maybe barely I would fit all of the loaders here on the storehouse. So yeah, the warehouse is fine since it's 6x6 squares, so perfect for all the inputs here on the same side. So next here we have the sorting facilities for each ores, and yeah, the next bit is well, it's a lot of spaghetti. So yeah, this looks great. It looks fine. So yeah, let's just take the separate chunk sorting here, for instance. So all of those, they give 18 outputs, 18 items of output. So I just realized that this should probably be a fast splitter here, since this one will still have to take 18. Yeah, I'll correct the other ones as well later. So all of this gives 6 iron. So if I siphon iron on the first input here, then the rest is 12 items, so it should work. Copper is next, then silicon ore, then nickel, and the last thing that it goes is slag. And all of the other ones, it's pretty much the same, but for the respective ores for each chunk sorting. And all of the ores go to train stops for each ore separately. Also, I've added one for coal and for refueling here, just so there's something here. Okay, so now let's say what we needed to do with the byproducts. So pretty much all of the byproducts are made into something that can be used or voided. So the slag, let's talk about the slag first. The slag goes here and it's processed into first crushed stone, then stone, and it's pretty much one slag per one stone here. Then the stone is being transported over here and turned into landfill, and the landfill is stored into our warehouse. Bear in mind, this is not working yet because I don't have any outposts set up yet for mining each of the 6 ores. But yeah, and all of the stone from the other crushing for ore crushings also goes here, and it's turned into landfill and goes to our warehouse. Next, I was left with what was this called again? Calcium sulfate, and can pretty much turn it into what was it again? Some more stone and some sulfur dioxide gas. So yeah, all of the stone goes to an assembler and put into the respective belt that goes into making landfill. And next is yeah, this sulfur. all of the sulfur from sapphirites, teratite and bodmonium wastewater, sulfuric wastewater goes into making sulfur dioxide gas. And this should pretty much make sure that I don't have any sulfur left at the end of the belt here. Next, this needs oxygen. So yeah, I've got several chemical plants making air separation for nitrogen and oxygen, and yeah, it's getting turned into oxygen, and the nitrogen is somewhere. I was avoiding it. I forgot where. Ah yes, the voiding is over here, since I didn't have enough space over there. So yeah, and this needs compressed air. And to make compressed air, I've got a air filter column here. And since this needs more than 1200 compressed air, I decided to just put it into a storage tank and then use two separate outputs to use it, since if I remember correctly, pipes can only transfer 1200 fluids per second, or gas per second. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the case here. Okay, so that being done, we've got sulfur dioxide, and I'm forcing it to go. I'm not sure why there was non-return valve here. Yeah, all of the sulfur dioxide from calcium sulfate and sulfur, they go here and get pumped here into this column here to turn it into sulfuric acid. Okay, so what's next? I guess the purified water. Yeah, water purification. So this is the, say, central storage for purified water, and pretty much take all of the purified water from sorry, from water purification, and first put it here from the north here. And I also needed some water purification, since I didn't have enough from just clarifying all of this. Not clarifying, purification from, no, what's it called again? Yes, purification of wastewater. So the rest I had to make a water purification column here. So it's something. It's 13 hydro plants, which needed a lot of water. So again, I decided to, instead of joining the pipes here, I just decided there to get two separate lines with different offshore pumps here. And yeah, it produces saline water and purified water. And the saline water is being voided here. And what else? Yeah, and the purified water goes over here. And this is the same thing, that it has 4 outputs with 4 different pipes, because chunk sorting, no, not chunk sorting, hydro refining of crushed ore into chunks takes purified water, and the setup I have is 450 purified water per second. So as I said earlier, I think the pipes can only manage 1200, so yeah, I can only put 2 of those into a single pipe. And the 4th pipe is for well, sulfuric acid and what was this called again? Synthesis sulfur dioxide from calcium sulfate. Okay, and that's purified water. And also with sulfuric acid, I'm putting it here into let's say storage area. And I have 2 outputs here. One is for it was for yeah, for crystal slurry from geodes, and also for hydrofluoric acid. And the second one, it goes all the way back here into my gas industry here, let's say. And it goes, it's connected over here with a non-return valve, and the excess is turned into well, if it's I think it was more than 199,000, then I just void the rest of it. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I was doing between the last episode and this one. And yeah, between this one and the next one, I'll probably find some veins I could mine and bring some iron, some ore here, so I can process it. Yeah, and also I will have to build trains, so yeah, that's also on the list. So pretty much in the next episode I'll probably have trains already being made. Yeah, but I'll see it in the next episode. So yeah, this is everything for this episode. If you liked it, then click the like button. If you disliked it, then click the dislike button. If you think I made a mistake somewhere, or if you maybe saw some mistakes that I didn't see, then let me know in the comments. If you want to see more like this, then subscribe, and hopefully I can see you in the next episode. Bye.